Welcome to Primetime, where I am sat in a hotel room bringing you this post episode intro. We've got a championship main event with Fallon Henley defending against Athena, as well as our two quarterfinals in the Tag Team Classic Eliminator. Strap on in, this is going to be an epic show.
Well, there's only one good way to kick off tonight's episode of Primetime, and it's by raising those fists, firing those guns, as the Tag Team Eliminator Classic begins.
The following contest is a tornado tag team match. On their way to the ring, at a combined weight of 420 pounds, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, the Motor City Machine Guns.
Last week, the Guns earned victory over Pretty Deadly in a very close affair to advance to Primetime sides quarterfinals. That competition is something they have been wanting, yearning for quite some time. In recent weeks or over the past few months on Underground.
And their opponents, accompanied by Wolfgang, at a combined weight of 486 pounds, Joe Coffey and Mark Coffey Gallus.
Over the past few months, Gallus and the Guns have gone toe to toe. Never, however, has it been this lineup of Gallus, the championship winning lineup, and that is what Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin have to contend with. Let's be honest, when you look at Gallus as a unit, they are very much a sturdy lineup. Bruisers, battlers to the core. Most City Machine Guns are gonna have to really rise to this occasion, especially considering Tornado Tag Team rules apply. Let's get underway. Our first quarterfinal, and obviously later on in the show, one of our third matches from the end of the show will be our second Tag Team Classic Eliminator, and that one's pretty interesting. Obviously, triple threat tornado tag after last week's pretty interesting result, but we'll discuss that more later on in the show, as right now we've got a bit of a brawl kicking off this episode of Primetime. Both Guns going springboard maneuvers, a moonsault from Shelley, a tornado DDT from Sabin, as Sabin lines up the super kick and drills it into the side of the face of Joe Coffey. Shelley follows up with one of his own onto Coffey. The boots are flying here for the Guns, who are realistically looking to make it all the way to the finals. The problem is, on this side of the bracket, here in the quarterfinals, on Primetime's end, you have two teams added into the competition, added into the Eliminators, who are former Undisputed Tag Team Champions here in IPW. Obviously, that was prior to the brand split, as that's a beautiful Fisherman's Buster from Shelley. Drilling mark on the outside, but inside the ring, Joe Coffey's been isolated off here against Chris Sabin. Sabin mounting some punches, mounting some offenses. I believe he may have busted open Joe. It could have been Shelley, though. hard to tell, but one thing's for sure, there is a little bit of an advantage here for Gallus. With the fact they have brought Wolfgang out, he can obviously provide some protection to the lineup, some realistical good fortune. And there's the discus lariat from Joe Coffey, connecting flush onto Sabin. You can see in the background Wolfgang removing that top turnbuckle pad. Will that pay dividends as this match rolls on? But right now, it's Gallus who are starting to surge forward. Surge with control. Snapmare and a boot to the back from Shelley, who goes for the cover. Mark Coffey breaks that pinfall attempt up, and this is where Gallus, you start to question maybe some ring rust. Obviously, the unit hasn't really been competing frequently here in IPW. But obviously, seeding is in their favor due to being former tag team champions. Oh, super kick there from Sabin, connecting flush. But it's interesting to note both members of Gallus busted open at this stage of the match. As the Guns have really been lethal, firing off super kicks into the face. It has been a bloody affair as well. Joe Coffey avoids that tornado DDT from Sabin, gonna send him running. Picks him up. Nice power slam there. Now, opting to get a weapon, kendo stick in hand. Drops it there for now, but eyes on Shelley coming, trying to chase down Joe as Sabin now has one half of the Coffey brothers hooked up. Brainbuster, and floats immediately into the cover. And Joe Coffey reciprocates with a kick out. Gallus now starting to come back into this. A slow opener for them actually works out in their favor in some regards, because that's a big shot from Joe Coffey. Meanwhile, keep your eyes on Shelley. Frog splash to the back of Mark Coffey. Discus forearm misses from Shelley because he eats a big clubbing blow from Joe. And this is where Gallus are thriving. The brawling state of this battle is giving him an advantage as Joe's climbing to the top. Eats a punch to the back and tossed to the mat. The canvas, a hard fall down, and Sabin's looking to punish. Springboard misses that DDT, not gonna hit, as now it's Shelley eating a German suplex. Pinfall attempt here, Sabin down, forced to kick out as Gallus edging closer. Keep your eyes on Mark. Actually, keep your eyes on Joe. Meanwhile, Shelley bridging over, has the Motor City stretch in. The submission hold broken up. Avoids the leaping shot from Joe, but the follow-up punches, the clubbing blows, and there's the lariat dropping Alex Shelley there. Joe goes for the cover, now onto Sabin. He's done a lot of the damage to him. Gets a 2 off that affair. Boom! Big shoulder tackle from Mark. Double underhook, butterflies him. Rolls through, though, as Shelley surviving that onslaught. Here's the thing, though. Sabin has been busted open. He's looking to fly. Missing. It's in these pivotal moments that I'm noticing that the Guns really aren't able to connect. However, this is not good for Joe. On the announce table. Brawling with Sabin. And Joe, no, he's got him. Hooked up, no. Sabin fights out of it and launches Joe off the side. Inside the ring, Mark Coffey brawling with Sabin. Hooks him up. brings him down with the brain buster. Drills him, and now he's looking to drill Sabin. Can't do so. Instead, cradle bomb from Sabin. He's now unloading with that sledgehammer. Shelley looking to set up something big here. Meanwhile, outside the ring, Sabin goes for a flight, misses wildly. Mark Coffey rolls out. It means that the Guns can't get the win just yet. Super kick avoided. The second one, not even a factor. Sabin's flattened. Meanwhile, Shelley and Wolfgang getting into it. They've had a little bit of history. Obviously, they battled on IPW Underground as well. Now we're in a difficult situation for Mark Coffey, who's really been the punching bag of this matchup for the Guns. It's been predominantly Joe Coffey doling out the damage. And this is where Gallus really need to pick up the pace, pick up their offense. And now they've isolated Sabin inside the ring. Mark Coffey and Joe Coffey really need to land the big shots, as there's that discus lariat. Joe's been taken out though inside the ring. Sabin going for the win, almost gets the 3 count. As well, the body of Joe Coffey slowly rises after landing that discus lariat onto Alex Shelley, returns him to the ring. Cradle shock from Sabin. Pinfall attempt, Mark Coffey can't kick out. Shelley gets busted up at the end of this match, but I'm going to say that was a bit of maybe some ring rust from Gallus. We certainly saw one hell of a brawl from the former tag champs. Realistically showcasing why they have been a threat at the top of IPW's tag team division for quite a long period of time. This renewed vigor certainly might put them in good standings for a future shot, but I have a feeling if they get more frequent tag matches, they'll be right up in the thick of this division. Yeah, as we watch these replays, that lariat there from Joe, exerting maybe the last bit of his energy. Tiredness came in, tried to get back into the ring. As Sabin's going straight into that cradle shock, pinfall comes through. Joe too slow, and eyes immediately focus on Shelley. Regardless of the result though, it was one hell of a performance, and it continues the trend off of Breakdown where the lower seed advances over the higher seed. Could we see a similar result later on tonight? Well, from a tag team eliminator classic, we're going to a number 1 contendership bout in the women's television division. And it's time to get a little bit creepy, sinister.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring from Los Angeles, California, Victoria!
As this lady is not someone to mess with. Arguably one of my favorite, quote, divas in pro wrestling. She's going to war here against a juggernaut. It's not over until I win. You got Def Rebelled. A Big Mama Pump.
And her opponent from Austin, Texas, Jordan Grace.
wants a shot at the title. As does Victoria, to be fair. But as we look at this matchup, you look at the history these two women have kind of had. Well, it's different eras. Very similar to some extent. Both former TNA Knockouts champions. Both bringers of realistically high, powerful offense. Well, the crowd behind Jordynne Grace to kick this one off, but you can never doubt the legend, the Hall of Famer, Victoria, in a matchup like this. As Victoria takes waist control to start this battle off. She's wrenching on it as well, forcing Jordynne Grace into a difficult situation. And now, as we look at this matchup, Victoria, someone we've not really seen, fleetingly had appearances from her in IPW. Looking to obviously rise up the rankings here. Going up against Jordynne Grace is certainly a good tester for her. Grace, who's a similar sort of history in IPW, fleeting appearances, and I would say not the greatest of showings from Grace in the matches we've seen from her. As it stands right now, eats the Rolling Thunder to the back. These two women realistically looking to get into the title picture, as we say, number one contendership, and we've IPW management, or more specifically Eve Torres, the general manager of Primetime's, looked at the stars that are on this Primetime brand, looked for unique matchups that the champ has yet to really face. Something that we've seen over the many months has been very well-rounded stars facing off against Fallon Henley. As Jordynne launching a load of lariats into the back as well as the front of Victoria. We've seen a lot of these well-rounded stars, technical wrestlers, trying to take it to the champ, but something that she's really been untested with is powerhouses. The closest I would say is Rhea Ripley, many a month ago now, but Jordynne Death Valley Driver drills Victoria into the mat. Victoria avoids the grab of Grace and sends her running. Power slam delivered with authority. Stands on her as well. Booty popping moonsault. And Victoria rolling back the years for that maneuver. Obviously one of the greats to do it. Snap vertical suplex. But yet, it's interesting that we get stars like this who don't get the opportunities as much here in IPW. The biggest stars, typically like the powerhouses, do tend to see more of a side positioning, and now it's kind of down to them to maybe be the new faces of this division. A division that has been not necessarily haunted, but dominated by Fatal Influence here on Primetime, to say the least. And you look at breakdown as to how they're shaped up. Obviously, former champion Nia Jax, obviously in the Sapphire division, now maybe looking to challenge and go toe-to-toe with Liv Morgan, but that is a different story for a different time. Could potentially see a new era, a new style of wrestling dominant atop of IPW, and that is what we like, is innovative offense, innovative styles. We're yet to see any real challenge, though, And that is something that I've got to say about all our divisions, including the men's. Recent championship defenses, I'd say, in the top divisions have been very closely contested or either massive blowouts, even when they look to be even. And we especially look at Fallon Henley of recent times. 4 weeks on the trot looking to defend as Victoria, Widow's Peak, delivered with brutal effectiveness. Only nets the 2 off of it though. But keep your eyes on the Black Widow. We need some big shots now from Grace, who's firing back. Maybe looking for a comeback into this matchup, but the Juggernaut's not going to get it instead. Choked and lifted into the air. And that's a double-handed chokeslam if I've ever seen one. Meanwhile, Victoria hits that floating moonsault with great ease. Turns back the time, as we said earlier. She does it again. And now, I'd say there's firm control here over Jordan Grace. He's not been able to really get going. Gutbuster to the Juggernaut, and Big Mama Pump is still laid down. Tries to roll over the top rope, does Victoria, who eats a big-time knee from Grace on entry. This might be Jordan's moment to maybe head back into this match, but Victoria's not going to have it. A power slam again. And Grace, once more choked and elevated. And she's going down to the mat. That choke slam. Pretty effective from Victoria, who's again, fireman's carry, spins her out into a side slam. And now we know what follows that. Widow's Peak. Spiking the neck of Grace into the mat and the shoulder. That's going to be the win. And Victoria is #1 contender to Fallon frickin' Henley's undisputed television championship. As we watch these replays, Grace had some good showings in the early stages of the bout, but once Victoria hit this Widow's Peak, the match was very much done and dusted from there. The legend of the game just decimated Grace. Hit the classics and forced her to have them shoulders pinned to the mat for 3. This beautiful moonsault just floats through the air. Great ease. You look at how much muscle has to be utilized, well, thrown about there. And the fact that she just stalls in midair, it is beautiful and effective. And then this precursor to the ending. This insane sidewalk slam. Sorry, fall away slam. Into then the Widow's Peak. Grace. There's no match here for Victoria. I guess you could say Victoria was the better TNA Knockouts champ.
Here is your winner, Victoria!
Well, next week's episode of Primetime's going to get off to a hot start. The television championship on the line. It will be Victoria versus Fallon Henley. Who will walk out of that victorious? We'll find out then. You know, it's actually nice to get sometimes a matchup with no stakes attached. However, a match without Dirty Dom is probably more preferred, as a chorus of boos typically follow him as he enters the arena. Dirty Dom, a very talented wrestler.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring, representing the Judgment Day from San Diego, California, weighing in at 200 pounds, Dirty Dominic Mysterio.
As it stands, Dirty Dom has been an interesting factor here on Primetime. Earned himself a big victory a couple of weeks ago against the number one contender for the television championship. And then, I would say, has really not done much outside of that. Tonight, he's kind of looking to regain some of that momentum he lost as he steps up to the plate here to deal with a very interesting bout. Eve Torres spoke to me before tonight and basically said that this was set to be speed on full display, but one blow might just end this match. Obviously, I was unsure what she meant by that, but when you put in a Mad Russian and Dirty Dom, you've got the speed of Lucha Libre from Dom, and then just the hard-hitting, fast flurry of offense from Ilya Dragunov. This is bound to be an insane middle-of-the-card clash.
And his opponent from Moscow, Russia, weighing in at 187 pounds, Ilya Dragunov.
As he's here to conduct some business, Dragunov has been an interesting part of IPW. In recent months, formed a little bit of a friendship with Kazuchika Okada. Those two, to my knowledge, still friends, still ready to work together to maybe battle some of the other teams here in IPW. Obviously, the focus for them two is not on Tag Team Gold, obviously not involved in that Tag Team Classic Eliminator. So, maybe those two, if they can't find success soon, may decide to work together once more. But Dragunov, obviously, potentially a figurehead of IPW Underground. The arena which has seen, obviously, new champions crowned last week. Within its... well, the previous week, I should say. It was actually on that Sunday in the lead up to Primetime and Breakdown last week. But obviously, we yet to see the male champion here on Primetime, who calls it home technically. But I have heard word that Ludwig Kaiser of IPW Underground has kind of built his quote-unquote roster of stars that were sent to fight each week in those hellacious battles. Speaking of hellacious battles, this matchup certainly could feature on it as a Yoshi Tonic comes through from Dom. Drills Dragunov into the mat, and this has been Dirty Dom on full display to start this matchup. Avoids the attack or whatever Dragunov was looking for there as he grabbed a hold of him, but now Dirty Dom is striking pretty effectively till this moment. Chop block takes out his ankle and leg, and Dragunov now gets to go on the attack. The crowd now chanting for Dirty Dom. It's not something I typically expect, but what I do expect is Dragunov to knock the lights out of Dom, busts him open with that big shot. Could have been an early night for Dirty Dom, but still alive in this matchup as Dragunov almost gets the early knockout. Dom, though, sets him up. He's dialing it up. 6-1, no. Boots caught. Dragunov tosses Dom into the mat, goes for the cover. We certainly said this match was going to come out thick and fast, and well, these two stars are landing the big time offenses. That's a Uranagi. Planting Dom down. Dragunov not going to slow down, hits senton. It is very fast to start this off. As the Mad Russian is lining up Dirty Dom right now. Big shots connecting. Roll up. Not going to go for the pin, instead. Sit out powerbomb. As Dragunov is just going to town. Looking to crush Dom. Charges in off the ropes. Boom! Big time lariat. Drills into Dom's neck. It could be enough, but it isn't. Dom back to his feet. Realizes the danger. Goes to the eyes. That's why he's called Dirty Dom. But Dragunov, this is why he's a Mad Russian. Does not care about what Dom's just done. Instead, a leapfrog. A drop down. And a U nearly hits him with that knockout shot again. Hip toss from Dragunov to fight back from the missing attempt at his big time maneuver. Goes for the cover. 2 count there. Dragunov has just been unrelenting. Dom's missed a lot of big time offense. As a Mad Russian, is he sensing it's time to end it? Dom's not having that. Fights out the grasp. Off. No. Takes the back of Dragunov. Back. Drop. Suplex. Belly to back suplex. Perfectly executed as Dom lands a drop kick to the back as well. Ilya's in the drop zone as well now. Not where you want to be against Dirty Dom, who gets a bit froggy. Channels his unk as he gets the frog splash. Landed plush onto Dragunov, but a kick out given there by Ilya. Keeps this matchup alive a little longer. Dom shoots his shots and a big time right drops Dragunov. Dom, beautiful drop kick there. Putting down Ilya, but cannot follow up. Instead, it's Dragunov taking the moment. A leapfrog. A drop down. Uh-oh. Dom sent over the top. Dragunov can't connect. Smart there by Dirty Dom to escape the offense Dragunov wanted, and goes and hits that springboard drop kick as well. Pinfall attempt almost gets the win there for Dom, which would have been a shock because Dragunov's really not taken too much big offense here from Dirty Dom. A scoop and a slam Michinoku driver. And Dom's going up top again. Dragunov's in the drop zone for a frog splash again. Connecting onto Dragunov. Has he done enough? The answer's yes. To be honest, that is quite a surprise with how this matchup started. Or kind of went through the middle stages, I should say, more than the start, because the start was quite Dirty Dom controlled. This, though, this turned the tempo, turned the tides in favor of the Mad Russian for the majority of this bout. But it wasn't until he went for that second shot that Dirty Dom basically was given a lifeline. He avoided the H-bomb And then came flying off the top. Like that. For the first frog splash. And from there, it was very much poetry in motion for Dirty Dom. He kept the pressure on. A Michinoku driver put Dragunov down perfectly in the drop zone for the second frog splash. And Dirty Dom picked up the W here in this matchup.
Here is your winner, Dirty Dominic Mysterio.
Well, the pace certainly quickened for this match. How about we increase the pace and increase the carnage for our second Tag Team Eliminator Classic? Coming up right now. Well, there's a lot of story behind this matchup, but we'll get to that as the matchup kind of gets underway.
The following contest is a triple threat tag team match on the way to the ring at a combined weight of 426 pounds. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, A-Town Down Under.
Simply put, last week, if you missed Primetime, what the hell are you doing? Why are you missing the most must-see wrestling show on YouTube nowadays? But, in all honesty, a double pin between the Headbangers and A-Town Down Under. Both shoulders hitting the mat at the same time. Both men went for the pin at the same time. While our referee, in the moment, awarded the win to the Headbangers. On closer review from replay, the decision was overturned. And that's why we have this triple threat here tonight.
At a combined weight of 488 pounds, Mosh and Thrasher, the Headbangers.
And while I would say that the result being overturned maybe upset some teams, I look at the Headbangers and how they are. Just the fact that they're like gluttons for punishment. The fact that they're willing to headbutt one another. I don't think they care that they have to go through another team in order to make it to that semi-final next week against the Motor City Machine Guns. But as we said at the top of the show, the teams added at this stage on Primetime side are former tag team champions. Gallus are gone, leaving just these bad boys.
At a combined weight of 603 pounds, Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley Boys.
As we went down the rabbit hole last month, Team 3D got to challenge the Usos for a rematch of sorts for a long time ago. Back when Gallus were in tops of the tag team division. It was very much a matchup that could have realistically have gone either way, but as we see right now, Team 3D are without the belts, thus the Usos earned the victory. Tonight, it's Team 3D against the world because these two teams are hungry underdogs looking to basically earn a matchup against the Motor City Machine Guns. Theory Thrasher and both members of Team 3D look ready as we get underway for this, our co-main event. Sorry, one of our co-main events. You've got to call it a co-main event. This is probably one of the best episodes of Primetime we could offer. Obviously, world title main event, as well as this and one other match involving said tag champions and the undisputed world heavyweight champion teaming together for that showing. But before we get to that, we have to kind of put the attention on this matchup, and this is a very important bout if we not only look at it as a eliminator, but as a kind of warm-up for our big show at Cash Out. At Cash Out, it will be a triple threat tornado tag match. As Waller got launched out the ring there by Bubba Ray. But it is a triple threat tornado tag match. Anything goes, and there are basically for you 4 other targets to throw caution to the wind at. More bodies there are, the harder it is to basically protect you yourself and your partner. And, well, maybe unlikely alliances form as Theory goes for the roll-up onto Mosh, gets the 1 count. Thrasher got in, but not in time, as there we see Theory protecting Waller only for a moment, but that moment gives Waller the opportunity to get out of Bubba Ray's grasp. The issue is he's straight back into Devon's grasp as Bubba lands a big power bomb there. Eats an STO from Theory. Devon again protecting Bubba. This is smart by Team 3D. They're kind of working together, trying to stay near one another. In basically a position where they can work and basically could eat the matchup alive for one another. TKO there by Thrasher as Mosh now sends Bubba into the corner. A scoop, and there's the slam. Pinfall attempt onto Devon. Meanwhile, Theory is catching his breath on the outside. Waller now battling with Devon. Meanwhile, Thrasher, I think that was a bit more of a stage dive. Tight maneuver on to Bubba Ray there. We'll have to see as there's a DDT from Devon. Goes for the cover, not going to be able to get the win. And now, you look at this matchup, and the match getting closer towards maybe a climax. As the big shots are landing. That's especially a big boot from Waller. Referee eats a blow there as well. Teams are starting to feel the effects of all the damage being inflicted. Bodies are staying down for longer. It means there's less chance of kicking out. It means that there's less chance of it being broken up. As well, it's less about landing your own big shots to seal the deal. It's more about survival at this stage. And biding and picking your moments to win the matchup. Now, Theory landing some shots onto Mosh. Waller nips up. And Thrasher having a nice battle there with Devon. Waller scoops him up though. Needs a chop block for said scoop. Thrasher now has Theory hooked up. Plants him down onto that sledgehammer, I believe. Goes for the pin, but it's right in front of Bubba. As Bubba Ray breaks it off. Down to Devon to swing for the fences with that kendo stick onto Moshu. I think just no-sells it. Waller hits a sidewalk slam into the cover. Theory protecting his partner for this pin. Thrasher kicking out. Means this match still continues on. A-Town down under. Need a little more. Maybe this is what It's needed a wake-up call from Bubba as that sleeper locked in. Theory, power bomb stacking up. Thrasher there. Waller's forced out the ring. Devon saving grace. Connecting. Fisherman's neck breaker by Theory. He gets busted open though by Bubba, sorry. Thrasher now trying to fight with Devon. Waller now has Mosh hooked up. Devon sidewalk slam. That's an armbar by Waller on the ropes. And remember, there is no DQ in this sort of matchup, so things like that are legal. Mosh now dropping Devon as A-Town Down Under have isolated the ring to themselves. Bubba is fighting with Thrasher, but he's going to return to the ring as that's a DDT into a Fujiwara armbar here for Waller. Devon's taken out. He's forced to roll out. Bubba cutter connects. He's going for the cover, but eyes on Waller. Mosh, they need to break this up. Discus forearm from Waller going to level Mosh. As Devon returns into the ring, he is just going to battle with Waller and try and flatten him. Thrasher has his eyes on Theory. A DDT from Devon. It's now the Headbangers. They've done enough to seize the moment. Avoids a super kick. Thrasher with a big right. Eats a big boot, though. Mosh has been busted open by Devon, who's trying to go Tower of London. And there are just bodies being busted open all around the ring right now. I believe Devon ate one. A cutter from Bubba. Waller's getting back up. Inopportune moment, maybe. As Bubba did not need to land a shot. The pin's still going through. What? I thought Waller had broken it up. I was mistaken. Cutter from Waller. Lands a big shot. Theory. He puts the only standing man out of the picture. Bubba flattens Waller. He should have gone for the pin there. It's going to be Theory, though, who goes for it. Never mind, I'm mistaken, but he is isolating himself now with the Headbangers. Waller on the outside. Butterflies. Bubba with the Bulldog. Theory. Epic Flow DDT. Mosh swinging for the fences now. Can't hit the second shot as Waller stops it. And eats a Michinoku from a fireman's carry. Bubba and Devon now the only men standing inside the ring. Well, Devon leaves it as Theory and Bubba gonna battle inside. Theory sent for a ride, the head crashing onto that chair. And Bubba has isolated him, goes for the cover. 1, 2, and a kick out. This matchup still rolls on. Theory trying to get the roll up here. It's right in front of the Headbangers again. Rolling maneuver there by Waller. He may have been looking for that cutter, but could not connect. Instead, hits a neck breaker zone onto Thrasher, who's busted open. Devon now on the shoulders of Theory. Gun stuns him. Pinfall attempt here for Waller. Theory and Waller working well right now. Mosh is standing. He's staggered. Theory's going to capitalize on mistake. Stunner from Waller. Stun, Waller, stun. Goes for the cover. Bubba, though, breaks it up. He wakes up in the nick of time. But he eats a chair shot now, and he's going to be punished by Theory. Only for a moment, though, as he goes half and half with that Uranagi. Atomic drop by Thrasher. It's Waller battling, fighting for his life. He flattens Bubba Ray. Low blow by Theory. Dropping Devon. Tries to get the super kick onto Mosh, who's going for a bit of a burning hammer. Bodies scattered everywhere. Mosh into the cover. 1, 2. Oh, nearly. Bubba breaks it up. Devon being covered right now. Bubba breaks up another pin. Waller, what's he got in mind here for Devon? Up on his shoulders, brings him down, powerbomb style. SDO to Bubba. As A-Town Down Under have the ring. 1, 2. No, nearly. Austin Theory connects there. Big shot as the cover I thought was not going to be broken up there. Mosh cutting, well, just keeping the matchup alive. Backbreaker there by Theory. Pinfall attempt here. Believe that's Devon getting the pin. Waller forces the kick out. Right on Theory. Fisherman's neck breaker. Mosh now standing. Sends Theory running. Power slams him down. The headbangers have control of the ring. That is probably the best thing you can ask for in a situation like this, but Theory and Bubba back into the picture. Theory's been flattened. Bubba might be joining him. No, it's not. It's going to be Mosh maybe joining him. As Waller hits a sidewalk slam. Rolling maybe. Waller trying to get that cutter. Can't get it. Sorry, that stunner. Can't get it. Instead, it's Devon. Swing for the fences. He staggered Waller. Belly to back suplex as well. Austin Theory spins out Mosh. Pinfall attempt. Bubba breaks it up. He's coming down to the wire here. We said that at this, now kind of the start of this matchup. And everything that was said there is certainly felt even more right now as Waller's lining him up through the ropes. Stunner. Pinfall attempt. Mosh and Thrasher. The headbangers break it up. Theory's out the picture. Devon's back up. He's got to protect Waller here. Sidewalk slam. Connecting. He drops Mosh. This is Devon's ring right now. He's got one headbanger isolated. Bubba's getting back up. Rolling flatliner from Waller. Tower of London from Devon. But Austin Theory's in the ring. And they are removing Devon from the picture. Waller, butterfly bulldog, goes for the pin. The Grayson Waller effect being felt, but Bubba keeps the matchup alive. And steel steps certainly having an effect as well as they're tossed into Theory. Waller now has Devon hooked up. Divorce cord. Fujiwara armbar applied. Rolling no. Waller really kind of baiting that situation. Mosh now has Bubba lined up. Now targets Waller. He's going for both. Big shot drops Waller. Now caught. Roll up schoolboy. Devon, has he got it? The answer is yes! The wily veterans of Team 3D set a date with the Guns. And it's two TNA legends facing off against one another next week on Primetime. That was certainly not what I expected with how the match was going, but that quick thinking from Devon to seize the moment, go for that pin, and earn the win. Well, with that win, we've got 2 more matches tonight. Will it be Team 3D? Or the Guns next week? As the winner of that will go to face the team that are in our next matchup. A matchup that's filled to the brim with talent.
Here are your winners, Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley Boys.
Devon, quick thinking there from him, earns this victory. And gets him one step closer to the tag titles yet again. As we mentioned, tag titles or the tag champions are in action next. Let's get to that bout. Well, the tag champs and their cousin are here to compete for the first time since winning down the rabbit hole. The tribal chief, the head of the table, enters the Primetime arena as champion. Dethroning the American Nightmare. Roman Reigns is now set on a path of conquest to be the best star IPW has ever seen. And while the pyro does not continue here for the champ, he certainly feels ready for this one.
The following contest is a 6-man tag match. Introducing first, from Pensacola, Florida, weighing in at 265 pounds, the undisputed world heavyweight champion, Roman Reigns.
Reigns, accompanied by the Wiseman, Paul Heyman, is set to compete with the tag champions. We look at Primetime as the home of the faction. Fatal Influence having their mark across all divisions of the women's side of things. The Bloodline have a very similar effect in the men's divisions. The Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship, the Undisputed Tag Team Championships, held by members of the Anoa'i family. A family filled with heritage, all with wrestling backgrounds. A family tree that can only be sat at the top of by one man. That man currently is the one stood on your screens right now. His slow walk to the ring is well warranted, earned by his performance to beat Samoa Joe as well as Cody Rhodes to get that World Championship. The issue now for the Tribal Chief is who steps up to the plate. Cash Out. His matchup's undecided, but he will be defending the Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship.
A combined weight of 493 pounds, the Undisputed World Tag Team Champions, Jimmy and Jay, the Usos.
As for these two, they kind of know they've got a date with two other teams at Cash Out. One of which will either be the Guns or Team 3D. Our main event for next week's episode of Primetime. On the other side of the bracket, though, it's gonna potentially be either DIY New Day or the New Age Outlaws and the AOP. Those four teams still yet to get into semi-finals territory. On the breakdown side of things, that will be decided this Thursday.
And from West Newbury, Massachusetts, weighing in at 251 pounds, John Cena!
Well, Eve Torres has outdone herself. She's stacked one lineup with champions, the other top stars. As John Cena, arguably the greatest of all time, leading the charge for his lineup. Now, it's interesting. Cena's not tossing the hat here. A typical thing he does in his entrance, but from one 17-time champion to a 3-time world champ, I believe. The leader of the LWO. The greatest luchador of all time.
And representing the LWO from San Diego, California, weighing in at 175 pounds, Rey Mysterio!
So the greatest of all time, the greatest luchador of all time. Who's their third? That's really my next question, because Eve Torres has done a good number here to pick this lineup to face the champs. Well, this person we know.
And from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, weighing in at 224 pounds, Kenny Omega!
as the best bout machine. Man that's also rich with history. Bang. You kind of look at this lineup of stars. You've got so much talent going up against champions in IPW. This could be an explosive battle we're about to see unfold here. And right in front of our eyes, this 3-on-3 6-man tag team action. It's gonna be carnage. Right in front of our eyes. Gun drawn. And it's pointed. Cocked and loaded for the back. As Kenny is looking to land a V-trigger and put Roman to sleep. Let's get underway. It's Cena and Reigns.
I don't know what's wrong.
Be gay.
Okay.
I've hit
sex.
play on something there, but whoopsie daisy. A little bit Doug. Never can go wrong. Cena, as we say, starting this matchup with Roman. Nice little punch to the head there on Roman, followed up with a German suplex. And Cena, we've seen over the years, innovate his offense, bring out new shots, new arsenal of offense to really go toe-to-toe with some of the best stars. And innovating your offense is never a bad thing in some cases, because it keeps your opponent guessing. The issue is for Cena right now is he's going up against the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, a man who is kind of found himself now finally here in IPW. And that's not something you kind of want to hear, because, well, the Tribal Chief, since bringing the Wise Man on board, has been undefeated. Cena sends Roman running. After Paul Heyman's distraction there, it kept Cena away from the Tribal Chief, and that's given Reigns the opportunity to take over in this match. Looking to wear down John Cena. The issue is with wearing down Cena is he never gives up. And a matchup like this, where you're going up against some of the best stars IPW has to offer, that can-do, never-give-up attitude will always work out for Cena, because he can bide his time, utilize his partners, bring the action to Reigns and the Usos. Cena gets the boots up, forcing a breakaway there for himself to allow him to come firing back with some stiff punches. Tag out for Reigns, who brings in one half of the tag team champions. Irish whip reverse there. I believe that is Big Jim. Taking it to John Cena. Cena, nice DDT though. As Cena brings in Rey Mysterio, expect the pace to quicken here. Roman and Jay standing nicely next to one another there. Certainly an interesting setup for the Usos. Probably because they know what Paul Heyman's up to. Removes that turnbuckle pad. And yeah, he's letting people know he didn't get his hands dirty. Neck breaker from Mysterio. Heyman's trying to get on the ropes. Roll up effect there for Jay as well. There's Mysterio hitting that turnbuckle. A referee going to get involved. Reattach the pad after it's already had an effect in this matchup. Mysterio looking to not be busted open right now. Is, however, taken up Tom. Fights out the powerbomb position. Big Jim doing a good work here against Mysterio, but it's finally time for Ray to get out of here. Tags out, brings in the cleaner, Kenny Omega. This is what Kenny does. He sees a downed opponent, he brings it. He loves to talk to himself, does the cleaner, and that's something that you'll notice during his matches, is he'll talk to himself as well as the camera. He very much does it as a means to keep flowing, keep the action going in a way that works out for him. Heyman allows for Jay to get on the right side of the apron. There's an armbar there from the cleaner. Not something you typically see, but Kenny bleeding may be something we see quite a bit. As a super kick misses, stabber connects for the Kenny. Tries to stop Jay from tagging in. Instead, it is Jimmy tagging in Roman. And this is two giants of the game battling one another here. A top star of WWE versus the top star of AEW. As Reigns goes flying over the top, connects onto Omega. Typically you see Kenny being the one flying, but that's a Superman punch. Fit for a superhero. Kenny, fighting with Jay, returns himself back into the ring. Fires back on Roman, avoids a follow-up attack. Double underhook. Spikes him. Head into the mat, but a referee, she's distracted right now. Paul Heyman, livid. Pinfall attempt, but it's broken up here. As the referee, not even going to go for the count. Heyman doing his job. Keeping the matchup alive for his team as Kenny's now forced to do some more punishment. A snap vertical suplex allows him to bring in Rey Mysterio. The Lucha legend tries to go flying, misses wildly. So does Roman. Vertical suplex delivered there by Reigns. He's looking for an avenue of attack. He goes to the wrong corner. And Ray's gonna eat the spirit. Pinfall attempt, but the count is broken up by the cleaner. And thus, Roman's had enough. He brings in his cousin. Ray may have been looking to go flying like what his son did earlier on. May have been trying to set up for that 619. He's going to get the boot up. Push away Jay. Now, punishing the arm. Mysterio. Now, this is what I was expecting. Dialing it up off the ropes. 619 for the first time tonight will connect. Big lariat though. The follow-up from Big J. Kenny takes the back, can't go for whatever he was looking for there. Instead, it's going to be a bulldog from Jay. And he catches a shot, hits one with one of his own. Back to his feet, though, is Jay. Not staying down for long as Kenny eats a backdrop. Irish whip. Puts the cleaner in bloodline territory. Takes the ankle as well. STF. Right in a match with Cena. Not something you typically see from the cleaner. Tag. In comes Jimmy, who's lining up for the 1D. Kenny's been launched in one direction. Mysterio has a different course of action. The chop block, though, may change that tide. Pinfall attempt on the cleaner. Cena's in the ring. Not needed to break it up because Kenny kicks out, but Dire Straits has a roll up here. Has Omega stole it? The answer's no. And once more, Paul Heyman getting involved. Tag again. The Usos lining up Omega for a second 1D. Pinfall once more. Kenny's down for the count. Not gonna be enough though. Resiliency on full display here by the cleaner. This high profile matchup. Reigns delivering punishment in the bloodline corner. Omega's not getting any respite. Sling blade from Omega. Would be the opportunity he needed to get back into this. Heyman. Interesting to see what he's doing there. He may have gone for a stomp, but regardless of the fact, it's not what comes to effect. Instead, it's a snap German from Omega. And a cleaner. He has an opportunity to get out of this matchup. Bring in two of the greatest of all time. If he chooses to do so. This might have been that moment missed. An ebb and flow DDT comes through. Just spiking him. This is not good for the cleaner. He's in the drop zone right now. The Uso splash because we've got a flying Uso. Pinfall attempt. The champion gonna not get the win off that. You can almost feel it. This is showcase as to why they're champions. And once again, Paul Heyman. Any momentum shifting moment, he gets involved. And he keeps the matchup alive for the bloodline. Thick kick there by, I believe, Jimmy. Fights out the corner. Felt like it might be Jay's. That's a nice knee from Omega. Buys space and gives him the chance, if he wants to tag out. Isn't going to take it. Instead, powerbomb rolls through. V-trigger. Connecting flush on the skull. Roman's, though, is straight into the ring to break it up. And that's a mistake. Jay's caught. One winged angel planted down. Jimmy in breaks it up for the team, but the cleaner has struck. Sends the Uso into the corner. Knife edge chop. And Kenny off the middle rope with the moonsault. Interesting to note, he's not going for a tag. Does he feel he can do it alone? This might be a statement made. There's a one-winged angel. Drills his opponent into the mat. 1, 2, 3. Statement made by Omega. Couple of one-winged angels and a V-trigger. Enough to put away the Uso in an isolated affair towards the end of this matchup. Omega, I'm impressed. The workhorse of the match. Cena and Mysterio, an easy night. Straight to the pay window without really any repercussions or punishment taken. It was Kenny that ate the shots, the super kicks, the Uso splashes. I think a spear may have hit Ray, but other than that, it was Omega eating the punishment. This, though, the turning point, that powerbomb V-trigger combination, forced Roman's interference in the match. A mistake in which corner Jay went to resulted in the first one-winged angel. That forced Jimmy into the matchup to break it up the pin. But this final one, hooked up, center of the ring, planted for the pin. No bloodline interference means Omega nets the victory.
Here are your winners, John Cena, Rey Mysterio, and Kenny Omega.
Beautiful victory for these three against the champs. Could this potentially be a date with Roman here for Omega? We shall see.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the undisputed Women's World Championship.
It's main event time. Our third of 4 Fallon defenses. Last week, we saw in a triple threat match Toni Storm, Alexa Bliss, and this woman battling for number 1 contendership for the Undisputed Women's World Championship. Well, as you can see, this woman won out in that battle and earned herself a shot with the champion. Athena has the opportunity here to realistically earn victory, earn herself the championship. Now, granted, it isn't. Well, it is actually, sorry, I should say. This is the big title held by Fallon Henley, the Undisputed Women's World Championship. The belt that has been held by this woman the longest of any champion in IPW. But as we saddle up for this championship affair, you have to consider all the names this woman has beaten. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Asuka, Bayley. All for the big boy belt. The Undisputed Women's World Championship has been seen by many, but only held by 2. Nia Jax, the only other woman to hold that Undisputed Women's World Championship. And there's a reason for that, because Fallon Henley has been undeniably the greatest star here in IPW. She keeps lining up the competition, knocking them down every single time. Now with the backing of Fatal Influence, We toss it to Alicia Taylor for official championship introductions before we get into that point.
Introducing the challenger from Dallas, Texas, Fallen Hero Goddess. And her opponent from Chelsea, Michigan, the undisputed Women's World Champion and the undisputed Women's Television Champion, Fallon Henley.
Well, she holds 2 belts, but only that one matters tonight. The undisputed Women's World Championship on the line in our main event, and the backing of Fatal Influence. Fallon Henley set to defend the championship introductions out the way. Let's get into this. TNA kick, spinning heel kick connects by the challenger. Misses the moonsault. Fallon back on the offensive, and it's interesting to note Kiana James out here at ringside. Big factor for Fatal Influence. Here to realistically keep the championship in the grasp of Fallon Henley. Early roll up here by Athena. Forces the champ to kick out. We tie up for the first time in this championship bout. Power you expect to favor the champion. Speed and aerial offense. More so with Athena. Champion now bringing it to the challenger. Stomp though by said challenger may have changed the tune of this matchup. And if you're Henley right now, you need to be wary. Athena, if she can build momentum, is very hard to stop. If you can slow her down, ground her, you're in a better state. But Athena is really aware of what the champion can do. There's a lot of game plan footage of Fallon Henley. Hooked up here is the challenger who's given a gun stun. The champion starting to roll, which is never a good sign for any of her challengers. That usually means that she gets to go on a very dominant offensive. Death Valley driver by Athena, but you just see the champion nip up immediately. That's never what you want to see when you hit a big maneuver like that. Athena cartwheels in, hits the elbow, smash to the face. The champion back up though. Once again, Athena's really on the offensive now. Champion maybe turning that tide. Facebuster. Imploding the head of Athena into the mat. Both champ and challenger competed in AEW. Different levels, obviously, of that competition. There's a pump handle locked up here by the champion. Sends the challenger flying, going for the cover early into this match. Could this be it? 1, 2, no, not even a 2. But surprising frustration shown here by the champion. Thinking that could have been it. There's the Famouser though. Not going hoedown. Saving that shot maybe for later. Challenger kicking out in time, surviving this matchup. As a champion started to roll. Fall away slam. Sends Henley flying. Goes for the cover here, does Athena. Baseball bat slid in here by Kiana James. Weapon at the grasp of Henley. Not going to use it instead. Evades that moonsault attempt from Athena. And champion eats a super kick. Athena springboard tries to land the Cosadora. Can't do so. Instead, the champion plants her down. Boot to the side of the face. This is not a place you want to be if you're Athena. The champion heading up top. Drops the elbow. My word. Never really see that out of Fallon Henley. What we do typically see from her, though, is cockiness. She's not really had the chance to be cocky here against Athena. It's a challenger now bringing it to the champion. A scoop and a slam. Puts her down. It looks like Athena's been distracted here. Kiana James, we know, is a thorn in most people's side. Keeping the champion alive in this matchup, but Athena's fired up. Hooks up the champion up into that knee. The strike connects flush on the temple. And is the champion down and out? The answer's no. But Athena has the momentum now. Irish whip reversed as the champion hooks up Athena. We just saw that maneuver. The champion using their opponent's maneuver against them. Goes for the cover and gets the 2. In typical Fallon fashion, Athena falls prey to her own maneuver. As I can only call them sexy headbutts come through from her. Delivering them deep onto Fallon. All through. Fireman's carry position out of it. Drills the champion down to mat, but nip up given by the champ, who fires through with a combo out of it. The kick connects and puts the challenger in the corner. Athena fights out in that corner. Puts the champ on the ropes. But the champion's not having any of it. Lifts her out of the ring. Kiana James getting involved. Picks up the challenger. Beautiful combo executed here by the challenger, the fallen goddess. Striking true. Powerbomb fought out of. The count rising. We're up to 5 here. As Athena's returned to the ring. The champion joins her. Now the champion sizing her opponent up. We saw the famous early. How about a hoedown? Connecting. Flush on the challenger. 1, 2, 3, no. What else is needed to put away the fallen goddess? Henley must be thinking, wondering what she needs to do. A stunner from Athena connects. Goes for the cover. 1, 2, no, nearly. From out of nowhere, that could have been game over. Could have been a new champion crowned. Fallon can't connect. Instead, it's Athena. There's that knee again connecting. Drops the champion down for the count. A count comes through from our referee and a near fall. So close to ending it. Champion fighting back. Sizing up the challenger. She's sent for a run. Athena spears her to the outside. The champion returns to the ring, but caught. Can't get back in. Drop kick delivered by Athena. Keeps the count going. Athena breaks the count though. Smart. Means this matchup continues. Means the championship can still be given over. Irish whip reverses. Athena eats the ring post. Kiana and Fallon working together well. As a tag, not as a tag team, but as a unit here. Keeping Athena at bay as a pump handle from Fallon sends Athena flying. The count reaching a 4. Athena's sent running towards them steps. Could be a bad position for her as that count is slowly rising up to a count out. We're up to 8. Champion, let's go at 9, and well, the challenger gets back in time. Eats a big lariat by Henley. Avoids the elbow. Eats a big boot. Does the champ. Coffin drop connects. That's a pinfall attempt. 1, 2. No. Near fall. Champion kicks out. Booty popping moonsault though does connect. And finally Kiana James interjects once more. Henley getting back up. Target in her sight. Famouser connects. Kiana James sets up the champion for the finish. 3 for 3 goes the champ. Every single week she is defending that belt. Another star falls prey to her. And next week, to kick off Primetime, she will be defending her television championship against Victoria. That's going to be one epic bout, but also our main event of that show. Team 3D, mostly machine guns. Kind of a number 1 contendership bout there for the tag team titles on the line. We'll see who walks out of that victorious, but for me tonight, I've got not a lot left to say. As Fallon and Athena finished out the show in style, I'm going to say my final adieus. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode of Primetime, leave a like down below. I'll see you next time for Breakdown.
Here is your winner, and still the undisputed Women's World Champion, Fallon Henley.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big